is a lot of people. This is a lot of people. What's going on with Virginia? What's going on? We're going to win Virginia. You know that. We got to get out and vote. And outside, you have exactly 5 times the number of people. So you're going to win this. We are going to win this on Tuesday. Thank you, Mr. Governor. We're going to win. Thank you very much. You have a great governor in this state. He did a great job, and your attorney general, and the whole group. Thank you, Glenn. What a job. So a very special hello to Virginia. I know it well, to put it mildly. And I'm thrilled to be back in this beautiful Commonwealth with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. That's what you are. You're patriots. And I'd like to begin with a very simple question for you to answer, if you don't mind. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? I've come today with a message of hope for all Americans. With your vote on Tuesday, that's a big day. You got to get out. We win. I'll tell you what. We win Virginia. We win the whole thing without question. The whole thing. Now, it's very possible that without winning Virginia, we're going to win the whole thing, too. But wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't it be nice? We got to do it. We're going to win Virginia. I really believe it. We felt it. Your governor felt it. I felt it for a long time. But I will end inflation. I will stop the invasion of criminals into our country, and I will bring back the American dream. This is all you really need to know. Kamala, a low IQ person, broke it, and I will fix it. I promise I will fix it. Go quickly. It's going to go quickly. They've done a lot of damage, but it'll go quickly. America will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than ever before. And this election is a choice between whether you will have 4 more years of incompetence and failure, or whether we will begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. That's what's going to happen. And I'm asking you to be excited about the future again. Be excited. You know, it's hard for you to be excited. You watch what they've done to this country. It's hard. Just be excited. It's coming back, and it's going to come back fast. And I'm asking you, remember this, to dream big again. You're going to dream big, and we're going to do some incredible things, because this will be America's new golden age. It's going to be a golden age of America. We're going to get the stupid people out of here as quickly as possible. What they've done. Every problem facing us can be solved, but now the fate of our nation is in your hands. It really is. It's in your hands. On Tuesday, you have to stand up. You have to tell Kamala and you can't call her Harris. You know why? Because nobody knows. I mean, you say Harris. Who the hell is Harris? The whole thing doesn't work, so we'll just call her Kamala. You're going to tell her that you've had it, Kamala. You're the worst vice president in history. You're terrible at what you do. You've destroyed our country. Kamala, you're fired. Get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. I'm here today in this incredible Commonwealth for one very simple reason, because I believe we can win Virginia, and that would be unbelievable. And working with your governor, we will get MS-13 the hell out of your communities. You're loaded up with them. We're loaded up. They don't want to touch them. We're going to touch them. Going to get them out. We're going to have ice all over the place. You know what ice is? You know what ice is? They're very tough people that love our country. And if you don't have very tough people, you're not getting MS-13 out anytime soon. No, ICE doesn't mind. ICE is like MS-13 is their cup of tea. We will cut your taxes, create millions of jobs, fix your schools, stop the indoctrination of your children, and we will not let them try to change your kids' gender. No, you will not be doing that. We won't be changing your children's gender with their transgender craziness. And we will protect parents' rights, and we will protect school choice. You're going to have school choice here. School choice. And we'll bring back an education system based on merit. Don't forget, our Supreme Court gave us in a very great ruling a decision that we're actually allowed to use merit again, merit, so that if somebody works hard, they do well. They work so hard and do so well. We actually have a merit-based country again. Can you believe it? Isn't that nice? And we will, of course, keep men out of women's sports, I promise. Last year, the radical left's gender insanity arrived right here in Salem when a man was allowed to transfer onto the Roanoke College women's swim team. And I just met them backstage, the great swimmers. I didn't notice a male on that particular team. I didn't notice a male on that team. Perhaps I don't understand what's happening, but I didn't see any males on that team, believe me. But the brave members of the swim team stood up to the transgender fanatics, something new in our country. And those strong, and I would say beautiful, but I'm not allowed to use that term anymore with women, because if you say beautiful, it means the end of your career in politics. You're not allowed to say a woman's beautiful, so I will not tell you how beautiful they are, but they are beautiful. But those strong, beautiful, intelligent women, they won. They won. And today we're joined by 7 of the great members, really championship, incredible swimmers of the Roanoke College women's swim team that have gotten a little publicity. They've gotten more publicity than I have. What the hell's going on here? Including team captain Lily Mullins, a real champion. Come on up. Come on up, ladies. Lily, everybody.
Sorry. Thank you so much, President Trump. As female athletes especially, we know that men have an inherent advantage over women in sports. And due to current policies, though, men are competing against women of all ages in all sports. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have advocated for, and pushed for this anti-woman sex-based discrimination to continue all over this country. And point blank, it's unfair. So I would like to thank you, President Trump, for standing with women and promising to protect the rights of all of us. We are so lucky to have a leader like Donald Trump with common sense who knows what a strong woman is and will fight for generations of girls to come. Thank you so much, and God bless America.
What a good job. Thank you, Lily. How about if we introduce each member of the team? Lily, can we do that? Come on up here. Just say your name and come on up, Lily. You handle it.
All right. So I'm Lily Mullins. There you go.
I'm Kate Pearson. I'm Katie Blankenship. I'm Juliana Morrow. I'm Hallie Shart. I'm Susanna Price. And I'm Carter Satterfield.
What the hell is going wrong with our country? Can you imagine? And the men don't realize they're tougher and smarter than us. I hate to say it, but they're tough. The men. All right, that's a great job. Good job you did, Lily. Beautiful. Thank you very much, girls. Go win that championship now, please. So we're just 3 days away from the greatest political victory in the history of this country, probably in the history of the world. But we have to get you guys out. You got to get out. We have to get out. We want to win everything. We want to win the popular vote. We want to win everything. And, you know, it's always tough when you have California. They send out like 38 million ballots. They don't know where they go. Well, they actually do sort of know where they go, but they don't know where they go. They don't know where they're coming from. They come pouring back in the millions, and then they lose. A Republican always loses from 5 to 7 million. You know, I was in California. You know, we took a poll just recently, not us, it just came out like today. Did you see it? That I'm winning with Hispanics over the Democrat by 8 points. And I'm telling you, if God came down and agreed to be our vote taker for one day, just one day, God would only need 1 second, actually. If he came down and he was going to be our vote taker, meaning if we had an honest election in California, we would win California. But when you have New York, Illinois, and California that like automatically, it's like ridiculous, automatically goes to a Democrat, it's tough to win the popular vote because there are 3 big states and it's like automatic. Nobody's supposed to question them. You have Gavin Newsom, who's a governor of California. And he just signed a bill, and in signing the bill, you know what it says? If you're an official, if you're anybody, you are not allowed under any circumstances to ask whether or not somebody has voter ID. If you say, "Let me see your voter ID," you are criminally liable. They will give you the electric chair. "Ma'am, may I please see your voter ID?" How dare you ask me for voter ID? How crazy is this place? But you have a very sane, very solid governor. There's something very nice. I can imagine. Glenn's like me. I think when we heard that one, we said, this is getting a little bit crazier. So now it's not only that you don't have to have voter ID, now you're not even allowed to ask for it under penalty of a lot of problems. It's crazy. We got to straighten that whole mess out. And then they say he lost the popular vote, but you know, it's tough. But I have a feeling, I mean, the polls are showing we're going to win everything. We're going to win the popular vote. We're going to win everything. And I'd love to win the popular vote with them cheating. You know, let them cheat because that's what they do. They do it very well. They're very professional. But I think we have a really good chance to win the popular vote. And I think things are going to be very interesting. It's going to be one of the most interesting days in the history of our country, and it's going to be the most important election in the history of our country. And if we win, which we should, because we got a big lead, this is like Lily. She's swimming and swimming, and she's 10 yards advanced with about 5 yards to go. That's where we are. In other words, we're going to win. But I have put everything on the line for you. I guess, I don't want to say this too much, but I guess, you know, that little incident. Somebody said even his life he put on the line. I don't know, but I know one thing. I wouldn't have changed it for anything. I wouldn't have changed it for anything. Because we're going to make our country great again. We have such potential. We're going to make our country great again. And I only want one thing from you. I don't want your money. We don't need your money. You keep that money. I only want a little thing called your vote. And that's what would be great. So we want your vote. And it would be a great tribute to Glenn and to me and to your great Lieutenant Governor who endorsed me recently. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. With your help, we're going to defeat Kamala Harris, and we're going to indeed make America great again. So yesterday was a big day. I can't believe this happened. I can't believe it happened. You know, I don't think anybody can believe. I've never seen numbers like this in my life because it was announced that Kamala's economy is like in a depression. The worst numbers I've ever seen, the worst numbers in many, many, many years. Kamala's economy added only 12,000 jobs. I've never heard of that before. Just by normal growth, you add 100 or 150. And for years, we've been looking, for many years, for decades, 200, 250,000. So yesterday it was announced that they added only 12,000. It's the lowest number in many years. But that's the good part. That's the good part for them because we lost nearly 30,000 private sector jobs, along with nearly 50,000 manufacturing jobs in 1 month. This is not recession stuff. This is depression. I hate to tell you that. Under Kamala's catastrophic agenda, and Crooked Joe, but I don't even know, is he still around? What the hell? You know, in all fairness to him, you might have noticed I'm not a big fan. But he was running. I spent $150 million trying to defeat this guy. We spent, think of it, and we were doing well. We had the debate. He didn't do great, but he did fine. We had the debate, and his numbers weren't great. And they walked into him and they said, we want you out. He said, I'm not going to get out. I got 14 million votes. You didn't get anything. We want you out, Joe. You're going out. Think of think of the consequences of this. This is a guy who's the president. He won it in the primaries. Whether you think he's great or horrible, it doesn't matter. He won it in the primaries, right? You know, they would look at me. If we ever did that, they would say, this is a threat to democracy, right? Everything I do, he's a threat to democracy. If I walk 2 feet over in the road, he's a threat to these people are sick. Can you imagine if I walked into somebody, a president's office, said, we want you out? But, you know, crazy Nancy, she's crazy as a bedbug. And I don't know, I think the Attorney General, maybe you can look at it. You have a great Attorney General. By the way, we just won a big case, Mr. Attorney General. We just won a big case. Because our Republicans have to activate a little bit. So did you know that Nancy Pelosi was a big investor in Visa? Okay? Hey, she started off with nothing, and now she's worth $200 million. Other than that, I think she's been quite honest. Her average pay was about $139,000 over those years. And now she's worth $200 million, but she's quite an honest woman. But did you, Mr. Attorney General, I think this is most important for you. I don't know, maybe you can look at it. You know, you touched that little Washington area a little bit, so maybe you could look at it. So she's a big investor in Visa, right? Big. I mean, you know, she's got plenty of money, plenty of cash, and not a good woman. She's a bad woman. Bad woman. I think she hates our country, actually. when she impeached me, knowing that I did nothing wrong, I said, that's a bad woman, bad. But she had Visa stock. She had Visa, big position of Visa, Mr. Attorney General. And guess what happened? She sold her whole stake. And then the following morning, the Department of Justice announced that we're doing a major investigation of Visa and the stock. So I don't know, maybe it's coincidence, Mr. Attorney General, but think of it. She has Visa stock. She sells, and the following, sold all of it. She had it for years. And the following morning, they announced a major, major investigation into Visa. You know what happened to that stock? It wasn't a pretty thing. So we'll check that out. I hope that he checks that out. Because you know what? She's a crook. And she's been doing that for years. She's been doing that crap for years. You ought to look at her. Under Kamala's catastrophic agenda, more than 100,000 manufacturing jobs. This was just announced yesterday. They've been wiped out since just the start of the year. These are our prime jobs. These are manufacturing jobs. These are the best jobs. 150,000 Americans joined the unemployment rolls. Can you imagine? This stuff is just all coming out. Remember, 818,000 jobs 2 months ago were fake. They put them in. It was going to be through the election. They put in 818,000 fake jobs, and they were going to announce and revise, biggest number ever. They were going to revise the numbers right after the election. These are crooks, okay? And fortunately, there was a whistleblower that couldn't stand it, and he blew the whistle. And we've learned. And now yesterday with these numbers, we learned a revision down also of an extra 112,000 jobs. These are big numbers. You know, normally it's like 2,000 jobs, 4,000 jobs. It's almost 1 million jobs that were fake. These are fake jobs. This is why they call him Crooked Joe, I guess, right? Crooked Joe Biden. And so all of these jobs, and all of it was going to be announced right after the election. Could you imagine you run in the election, you lose, and then they announce that they just screwed you for 1 million jobs in order to look better? And this is what we're dealing with in our country. This is what we're dealing with. 818,000 plus 112. Nearly 250,000 people dropped out of the labor force this month. How about that? That's like a depression. I never wanted to be Herbert Hoover, honestly. They say, who's your favorite president? I give them names. And I do like Ronald Reagan, right? I like him. But they say, who's your favorite president? I tell you, he could have been a little tougher on trade, frankly. I would have liked him even better if he was tougher, because we are tough. You know, China paid us hundreds of billions of dollars in taxes and tariffs. No other president got 10 cents from China. Hundreds of billions of dollars. But I always said I don't want to be Herbert Hoover. I refused to be Herbert Hoover. That was a bad one. He was the president, and we had the Great Depression. You could end up with the Great Depression right now, the way that's going. Nobody can believe the numbers. Everyone was shocked. I was shocked. I heard it, and I said, oh, let me, you know, TiVo, one of the greatest inventions in history, right? TiVo or its equivalent. Now they're going to use me in a damn ad. I got to be careful. You cannot use that for ad purpose. No, TiVo or its equivalent. You know, you just play it back. I said, oh, I must have misunderstood it. 12,000, and we lost hundreds of thousands of jobs. We cannot take 4 more years of these incompetent people running our country. And a statistic that's really terrible is 100% of all net job gains in the past year. In other words, all of the gains, you know where it went? To migrants, 100% of the gains. And the other stat that you have to see, and if you are an African American, you're not going to be happy with these numbers, but African American jobs have been decimated by the people that are coming into our country illegally, and they refuse to give the numbers. The fake news, look at all of that fake news. That's a lot. That's a lot. They must have heard that your governor is going to be here. He has done a job. He's not going to take it easily because, think of it, the numbers are so bad. They came in and they come in illegally, and many are murderers, drug dealers, and criminals of all kinds. You know, the crime rate in Venezuela and other places where they come from all over the world. But the crime rates in many of these countries, all of the countries, is way down because they're giving us their criminals, they're bringing them into our country. But for African Americans, the job numbers are horrific, and they're not going to be announced until right after the election. I think people should demand, because I heard numbers that are so bad, and Hispanic Americans, great Hispanic Americans, I just had a poll, can you believe it? I'm leading the Democrats with Hispanics. That wasn't supposed to happen. You think that's shaking them up a little bit? That's not a number that was supposed to happen, but it does happen because they're great people and they know I know it. They're entrepreneurial, they're hardworking. And in many ways, I've faced them many times. They're brutal. They can be brutal. They're unbelievable. But you know what? They're starting to be affected too. But the African-American population of this country is being decimated by the hundreds of thousands of people that just keep pouring through the open borders of stupid Kamala. And you know what? They should announce those numbers right now before the election, because you won't have one black person that votes for Kamala. You won't have one, because when you see those numbers, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. That's just like they didn't want to announce these other numbers, but they had the whistleblower. Maybe there's going to be a whistleblower for what's happened to the job markets for hardworking, wonderful black people that have had jobs, for years, for 20 years, and they have houses with mortgages on them and everything else. And what the hell's going to happen to them? So you ought to take a good look at what they're doing, because they're holding those numbers because they want to get the election over with. And I don't think it's going to matter. I think we're going to win anyway. But you ought to take a look at those numbers. It's honestly a terrible thing. I stand before you today as the only candidate who can rescue our economy, and I mean from obliteration, and restore it to strength, prosperity, and greatness again. I will do a real job for you. I'm going to work my ass off for you. And I didn't need this. I didn't need to be with you today. I could have been at a gorgeous beach in lots of places. I own some of the most beautiful beaches. I could have had that salt water from the oceans. I like oceanfront property best. I could have been standing on a beach, my beautiful white skin getting nice and tan, being smacked in the face by a wave loaded up with salt water. And I could have said, the hell with everything. I could have had the greatest life in the world. Instead, I got missing a little piece of my ear. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's nice. That's nice. I like these people, Glenn. I tell you, I like these people. These are great people. These are great people. No, I could have been anywhere. I could have had the greatest life. I could have had everything, the best hotels, the best everything. I could have had the life that nobody had. You know what? If I had it to do again, I want to be right here with you. We're going to make our country great again. We're going to make our country great again. Nobody else can do that. No, we're going to make our country great. I wouldn't switch. A lot of people have said, if you had it to do again, you know, I've been abused. Always it was Andrew Jackson, president. He was a great general and a very good president. and he was considered to have been the worst abused of our presidents. And second was Abraham Lincoln. Have you heard of him? And he was abused too, but, in all fairness, he was in a civil war, so I guess, things like that happen. But I think now I've gone to the top of the list, and I am so honored because we're exposing some very bad, sick people. We're exposing them. But a lot of people ask, if you had it to do again, would you do it? I said, I wouldn't even think about it. This is the greatest thing. This is the greatest political movement in the history of our country. Without question. Probably in the history of the world. And remember this for everybody, if you're thinking about sitting down to watching some stuff, like a stupid football game or something, remember this, if we win this election, it will go down, and you're a big part of it. You're a part of it equal to me as far as I'm concerned. If we win this election, it will go down as the greatest political event in the history of our country. If my opponent knew how to fix the economy, it would already be fixed, right? Why didn't she do it? You ever see where she gets up and she's, we're going to do the, today she had a new thing. When I get to office, I've got, this was 3-4 months, do it now. What's wrong with it? She says, when I get to office, she gives the worst news conferences I've ever seen. And they're the shortest, too. They last for about 2 questions. No, but she never does anything. If Kamala wins, you're 3 days away from the start of a 1929-style economic depression. You are. I meant it. And if I win, you're 3 days away from the best jobs, the biggest paychecks, the brightest economic future that the world has ever seen. Kamala's inflation nightmare has cost the typical American family $30,000. And you know what they did? They screwed up my energy policies. And they spent money at levels that nobody's ever seen before, I will say. And now she wants to impose the largest tax hike in American history and raise your taxes by more than $3,000 a year. Congratulations, Virginia. You know, I've watched politics all my life and stuff, and I've been involved now in it for longer than I would have even thought, because I never thought I was going to run for office. I never thought I was going to run. And then one day I looked at how stupid everything was, because we are now, you know, we're really, it's not like conservative, liberal, they like to call themselves progressive, so I call them liberal specifically for that reason. But you know, it's not like progressive or conservative. We are the party of common sense, right? We need borders. We need walls. I built over 500 miles of wall. Walls work. 2 things work. What are they? Walls and wheels. Everything else is obsolete in about 15 minutes. They come up, sir, I have a new computer. Look at this. Oh, I say, that's beautiful. You get it? And about 3 weeks later, it's obsolete. Speaking of computers and brilliant people, Elon Musk, how good is Elon? Do you know he's right now campaigning? He put that big 22-story rocket right in place and locked in. I said, what the hell is going on? I saw it take off. It was a beautiful white. I saw it landing. It was all burned to a crisp. Well, that's what you get when you travel at 10,000 miles an hour, I guess. They tell me the metal gets a little bit hot. It sort of burns the hell out of the paint. But he did something, because I've never, he's a friend of mine, but he gave us the greatest endorsement that you've ever heard. He said, our country, if Trump doesn't win, our country's not going to make it. We also got a great endorsement, the best from the Border Patrol. They gave us, they said he's the greatest president that we've ever had. I said, does that include George Washington and Abraham Lincoln? Yes, sir, it does. I said, that's okay, I'll take it. You can't. One guy got up and said, sir, you're the greatest president in my lifetime. He's about 40 years old. I said, that's not that good. I like the one with Lincoln and Washington better. But no, the Border Patrol went and they gave us, he gave us, they didn't just give me, we're on the same mindset. It's really, I view it as us actually more than I do me. But they gave us the best endorsement you've ever seen. And they said, she is incapable of doing anything. You know, for 4 years, she's been in charge of the border, almost, we're getting very close. I said, how many times in front of a whole big room just like this, I said, how many times did she call you? I had 10 Border Patrol people, the top guys, all of them wanted, we got a unanimous endorsement from thousands of Border Patrol, and they're great people. They're great. They want to do their job. I said, how many times did she call you over the 4 years? She never called, sir. Do you know that she never went down to the border one time? She went once into a section that you and I would love to have dinner there some night. Okay, this was not exact. I don't consider that a trip. This was a trip that a lot of the young guys over there with those beautiful girlfriends would like to take their girlfriend there for dinner. But you wouldn't want to go about 15 miles left of that. But she never called them once, and she never visited the border once, and she was in charge because Joe Biden appointed her. Now, she said, I'm not the border czar. But she just started saying that because the numbers are so bad. But she was in charge of the border. She never called Border Patrol one time. Think of that. Not one time. Never called them one time, never visited one time. And to me, it's the single greatest threat to our nation, far greater than those horrible numbers I just read out, far greater than inflation or the economy, because you're killing the fabric of our country. You're loading our country up with criminals and people from mental institutions, and no country can take them. So I want to thank the Border Patrol. I want to thank ICE. I want to thank all. But Elon, see, I weave. You know, this is a weave. It's all. And it always comes back. They used to say he's rambling. Now they say he's a genius. It's a weave. See the way? And you notice I started this off with Elon Musk. I started that thought off with Elon Musk, and I finish it with Elon Musk. By the way, how beautiful is his mother? What's going on with that? Did you see his mother? How elegant? I'm going to call him. How the hell did Elon turn out? His mother is the most elegant woman. Man. She walked in, and she looked like a princess. It's amazing. She's just an incredible, elegant woman. Anyway, I'll tell you one thing. I guarantee you one thing. She's a smart woman, because you don't produce Elon if you're not, you got to have a couple of smart parents, that's for sure. But, so I said to Elon, I said, Elon, was that your rocket? Yeah, it was. I said, so have you ever seen anything like it? First of all, he wanted to be here, but he said, I really love Virginia, and he has a lot of stuff around here. I think he's got a lot of stuff everywhere, you want to know the truth. But he's an incredible guy, and you know where he is now? He's campaigning for me in Pennsylvania. Think of that. Nobody has been. And people respect him. People respect him so much. You know, he's just a unique guy. You know, we have to protect our brilliant people because we don't have too many of them, right? But think of it, he's campaigning for me right now, and he felt it was more important, and he sends his regards. But he gave us the most beautiful, but I said, I watched this thing going, and I told the story. You might have heard it 2 nights ago. I'm on the phone with a very important guy. It wasn't Glenn. It wasn't your Attorney General or your Lieutenant Governor, because I wouldn't do that to them. But this guy was very, very, like one of the most important guys. And I'm watching the screen of the television. And I'm on the phone. I say, could you hold on a minute? I'm seeing something here that I don't believe. That was the 22-story rocket ship coming down. And I wasn't sure if it was a science fiction movie I'm watching, or I never saw this before. And I said, do you mind holding for a second? Thank you very much. I put the phone down, and I turned up the sound, and I said, man, I said, that's unbelievable. The bad part, by the way, I never picked the phone up again. It was terrible. And you know, the really sad thing, he's so important. He's such a big guy. But because I was president, but maybe more importantly, because I'm the leading candidate, because I'm the leading candidate, the poor guy never hung up. Because 45 minutes later, I picked up the phone. Hello? Are you still? Oh. And you know, you press this so bad, they'll say, see, he's cognitively impaired. No. I'll let you know when that day happens. Not going to happen for a long time. Not going to happen for a long time. And isn't it nice to have a president that doesn't have to look at teleprompters? I haven't looked at these suckers in the last 20 minutes. And if I did, you'd be bored stiff. You'd be bored if I did. You just can't. But anyway, so I'm watching this rocket come down, and it's coming down, and it's going to come down. I'm looking, I'm saying, how big is that sucker? 22 stories. 22 stories. And it's coming. I said, oh, no, it's going to hit the gantry. You saw that the bottom part was swinging left, and the gantry that cost billions of dollars. And it's going to hit. Oh, it's going to crash. I didn't even know it was Elon's. I just said, this thing is unbelievable. And then all of a sudden, you see fire and flame come pouring out of the bottom. It pushes just on the left side. And then you see it pushing over, and then it comes down slowly. Boom. Inches from perfection. And then you see those arms like you grab your beautiful baby, your beautiful child. See? In the old days, I would have said, like you grab your girlfriend. Now I don't say that anymore. I say like you grab your child. And those big arms came in and they grabbed that sucker and they held it in place like you grab your child. And I said, that's unbelievable. And I called Elon. I said, Elon, was that you? He said, yes, it was. Isn't that impressive that he picked up, the thing landed. You know, I'll tell you, it's nice to be president, or at least leading candidate, too. Because I called him and he picked up immediately. If I wasn't there, I think I would have gotten a call back about 3 days later, maybe. But he picked up the phone. I said, was that you, Elon? Yeah. I said, can Russia do that? No. They won't be able to do it for many years. I said, what about China? Nope, they won't be able to do it for you. What about the U.S. other than you? Nope, they won't be able. They don't have the technology. How good is this guy, right? Right? Pretty good, right? Oh, shit, look. I'm looking at the back of my head. What the hell? I look over at Youngkin. Now I look up there. I see I'm having a bad hair day. This is not good. I have to have a bad hair day in front of Virginia? That's not good. Well, at least it's a nice picture. No, how good is it? But just to finish with Elon, so I went down to North Carolina right after the hurricane. We couldn't go. I didn't want to go too near. I wanted to let people, you know, FEMA has totally let them down. FEMA, you know why? Because they spent all their money on illegal migrants. They spent like almost $1 billion. They don't have any money. And we'll take care of it, but they don't have any money. It's a horrible thing. North Carolina got hit hard. And one of the officials in North Carolina said, sir, do you know Elon Musk? I said, yeah, why? He said, yeah, didn't he just endorse you? I said, he did. He's great. Why? He said, well, they have something called Starlink. And North Carolina has literally been cut off from the mainland. We have rivers where we never saw water before. And we literally have rivers, and people are dead, and people are missing, and we have no communication to, now they're calling it the mainland. Before it was part of the mainland. You had to see it. I was there shortly after, actually on the site. I've never seen anything like it, the devastation. Massive trees are just ripped out like they're toothpicks, and houses, the foundations are pulled out, everything's pulled out. I've never seen anything like it. And wide, too. You know, a hurricane goes this way and narrow, but this thing was just like a hurricane, but it was, you know, hundreds of miles wide, but the worst section. And I said, why, what do you need with Elon? He said, he has something called Starlink. I said, well, I said, what do you want? He said, we desperately need it in North Carolina because we have no communication and people are dying and we're missing and it's a disaster. We have, because all the poles were ripped down, the wires are all lying all over the ground dangerously. I said, well, I'll get them. And what do you need? He said, we need Starlink as much as we can have. I didn't know what the hell it was. I said, Elon, I called up Elon, I'm in North Carolina. They desperately need, and so they need in Georgia a little bit, but they needed a lot in North Carolina. It got hit hard. That was like center. And I said, we need Starlink. He said, I told him, I said, I don't know what the hell it is, but that's all they want is Starlink. I said, so, you know, if you could, would you get as much as you can? And I gave him the guy's number. In the meantime, I get a notice from the guy. I'm still talking to Elon. I get a notice. President Trump, thank you so much. The Starlink will be arriving tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. No, but here's the point is, I wasn't even off the phone. So I'm talking to him, and I say, Elon, I just got a notice that Starlink is going to be arriving, but I'm talking to you on the phone. How the hell did you do that? He said, well, I have a very unusual way of communicating. I mean, I don't have to waste a lot of time on small talk, he tells me. I said, that's good. No, is that the coolest story, though? So anyway, they got the Starlink, and it was a lifesaver. I mean, he's a great guy. We need our brilliant people. And another brilliant person, you know, and this is not easy for him, because they've been Democrats for about 5,000 years. RFK Jr., right? Bobby, he's a great guy. I was with him last night. We did a thing together, and Tucker Carlson did an interview with me. And it was great. And Joe Rogan did an interview. That was great. Yeah. Good people. They're great people. They're great people, smart people. Like, we need our smart people. We have to protect our smart people, don't we? But Bobby's going to be working on the food and the pesticides and all of the things to make it healthy. And I told him yesterday, I was with him in the plane, I told him, Bobby, look, here's the story. You can work on food, you can work on anything you want. He wants health, he wants women's health, he wants men's health, he wants kids, he wants everything. I said, here's what you can't touch, Bobby. You can't touch our liquid gold. I'm handling that. We got more than anybody. And Bobby, we cannot, that's the only thing, Bobby, you got to leave that to me. We're going to make so much money. We're going to pay off debt, reduce your debt. We got more liquid gold than Russia, Saudi Arabia, Bobby. So have fun with pesticides, but the liquid gold you have to leave with me. We'll do very well. Nice, clean energy. We're going to give you so much energy. But we have a lot of people. We have all these endorsements. Tulsi came in. She actually just turned Republican. Tulsi Gabbard. We have, Brett Favre. How about Brett? No, how nice was that? I was in Wisconsin. Brett Favre, he's a great guy. He has a hand, but he was a great guy. But that was a big one yesterday. It was something that was really nice. Hard for athletes to do it, as I said. But I will massively cut taxes for workers and small businesses, and we will have something called no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. And to lift up American families, I will protect and expand the child tax credit that we already created. And I will support a tax credit for family caregivers who take care of a parent or a loved one. Do you know? They're not spoken about. Angel moms and angel wives, a lot of great people. But you know that if they didn't exist, they take care of their son who may be horrifically wounded in an accident or in war. That if we didn't have these angels, I call them angels, they're all angels. If we didn't have these people, you could build your hospital system 3 times bigger and it wouldn't be big enough. The money that they save us and the incredible credit that they give, the care that they can give is something that's unbelievable. And I just think, we have to acknowledge it, so we're going to do a nice big credit for them. And they didn't even ask for it. They didn't ask for it. They don't ask for anything. They don't ask. A lot of people ask. Everybody asks for everything. Everybody wants. They want. They didn't want. They just want to take care of their beautiful baby. The baby may be 45 years old, maybe 40. To them, it's their baby. They want to take care of their baby. I mean, think of that, how incredible. And you could never give that kind of care in a hospital. I don't care what hospital you're talking about. You could never do what they do. But you'd have to triple your hospitals, and you wouldn't be able to do that. and it could never be what they give. So it's pretty amazing. So we're going to take care of them, right? It's going to be good. We have so much liquid gold. We'll just take a little bit of extra. Think of it. More than Saudi Arabia. And you know, I had approved, and then Biden ended it, Anwar. Anwar is the biggest fund. It's in Alaska. The biggest, every president for years. Ronald Reagan couldn't get it done. Nobody could get it done. They all tried. I got it done, all set. This guy gets in. He gets in and he terminated it, like immediately he terminated it. But we're going to get that going. That would supply all of Asia. It would supply all parts of Europe. We would make so much money. We have such great wealth. But we have to use it. We don't need to buy our oil from Venezuela. Can you believe it? To rapidly reduce inflation, I will end Kamala's war on American energy, and we will drill, baby, drill. We're going to be drilling. And I will cut your energy prices in half within 12 months, 50%. 12 months from January 20th, that's when we assume the office of president, assuming we win. We got to win. You got to get out. You got to vote. Crazier things have happened. You got to get out and vote. Otherwise, we didn't win anything yet. All we're doing is we have a nice lead. We're heading down the home stretch. But you got to get out. You got to vote. You got to bring everybody you know. Just make it. And by the way, the bigger the victory, the more it looks like we can do the kind of things we want. So. And as we rescue our economy, I will also restore our borders. We're going to restore them. You know, we had the safest borders. And would you drop, if you have it, drop my all-time favorite chart. I love this chart. I love this chart. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this chart. Where the hell? I love it. I go to sleep with it every night. I hug it and I kiss it. My wife says, "What the hell are you doing with that damn chart?" No, if I didn't turn to the right, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. I go, bing. That chart was over there. It's always on my left. Tonight it's on my right. But it's always on my left. And it's usually at the very end, not the beginning. And it was like in the first paragraph, first sentence. And I said, "Let me see the chart." I was talking about how well we did with illegal immigration. And that's what came down. I looked to the right. If I didn't look to the right, I wouldn't be looking at you at all right now. So it was pretty amazing. So I love that chart, but. So if you look at the arrow on the bottom, that's when I left office. That was the day I left office. That was the lowest in the history of the border illegal immigration. That was the lowest point. We had the border fixed. It was so good. All this stupid person had to do is leave it the way it was. We had remain in Mexico. You couldn't come into the country. We had catch and release into Mexico, not into the U.S. We had everything perfect. And then they decided to just blow everything up. It was so sad. Do you think it was easy to get remain in Mexico from Mexico? Not that easy. Although they were nasty, but I was much more nasty. And they agreed. Tijuana was probably the fastest growing town in the history of the world. Tijuana was growing at levels that nobody's ever seen anything grow, and it was all in Mexico. They couldn't, and by the way, they couldn't get by. You know why? Because I built the wall. But that chart tells you. And look what happened as soon as I left. It looks like an Elon Musk rocket ship. Look at that. It went from the best numbers in history to the worst numbers in history. And all of those criminals started pouring in. There were criminals, massive numbers of criminals. And I said that was going to happen. I know all the guys that head all those countries. But it's much more than South America. It's from all over the world. But I know all those guys. They're very smart. They're very street smart. They're very savvy. They're like your governor. They're savvy. He's a savvy guy. You know, he has that nice way. "Hey, how you doing?" "Hi, I'm Glenn." Hi. He's a killer. Okay? I say that affectionately. "Hi, I'm Glenn. Hello, everybody. Nice guy." "Oh, he's a killer." "Okay, trust me." You know that's a compliment. He understands it's a compliment, but it is. He's smart. But they're smart people, and they are. They're streetwise. I said, if you have an open borders policy, every country in the world is going to drop their prisoners into our country. And that's what happened. They're criminals, they're gang members, they're drug dealers, they're terrorists. They're all in here. You know, I had in 2019, I don't even believe this number, Border Patrol numbers, they had 0 terrorists, 0. The next year they had 11. My years, 2 of my 4 years. This is after I got it really fixed and really good. Think of it, 11, that's not a lot. It's dangerous, but it's not a lot. But they actually had 0. I don't even believe that. I think somebody had it, but they had it at 0. Now you look at it, they come in by the thousands. The worst terrorists in the world are in our country, from the Middle East, from all over. And nothing good's going to happen here. Nothing good is going to happen. These people are what they've done to our country is unthinkable. It's the single biggest problem that we have. And we're going to fix this problem, and we're going to fix it fast. Thank you. Over the past 4 years, Kamala has orchestrated the most egregious betrayal that any leader in American history has ever inflicted on our people. She has violated her oath, eradicated our sovereign border, and unleashed an army of gangs and criminal migrants from prisons and jails, from insane asylums and mental institutions. You know who comes from the insane asylums? You know who it is, right? They always give me a hard time. Hannibal Lecter, the great Hannibal Lecter. You know the press to show you how bad they are? I'm talking about insane asylums, and then I'm talking about Hannibal Lecter. A little lighthearted humor about a very unfunny subject. And they always go, he always brings up Hannibal Lecter. What does that have to do? It has to do with the fact that these are the kind of people coming into our country from insane asylums. That's what it has to do. They always say, oh, he's rambling. But now most of them realize that it's the weave, and nobody else can do a weave like Trump. No. Joe Rogan said it the other day. We did a great interview. He's a great guy. And I started talking about something, and then I went to another very pertinent subject, but it was, related barely. Bing, then bing, bing, bing. And he goes, that's brilliant. That's the weave, isn't it? I said, that's the weave, Joe. But they come from Venezuela to the Congo, and they're stealing countless of American lives. I mean, they're stealing American lives. In other words, they're just killing people. These are violent people. The only thing good is they make our criminals look like nice people. These are killers, and they're just killers. You know all about MS-13. You have an MS-13 problem. I'm going to work with your governor, and we're going to get MS-13 out of Virginia within 1 month. 1 month. And you know what? She wants to defund ICE. Think of that. She wants to defund. If we didn't have ICE, I couldn't make that promise. I'll get them down here in force. They're going to clean out this state, and we're going to get them the hell out of here in 1 month. But today I want to hear directly from a mother, and I'd like you to just listen, because this is such a sad thing. This is brand new from a couple of days ago. And the people that I was in a room of people when they first put the tape on, because you have a lot to choose from. There's so much crime. It's so much horrible crime with the migrant crime. I call it migrant crime. And we saw that. And I had some of the toughest people, and like 75% of them were absolutely crying all over the place. These are men that probably haven't cried since they were a baby. Maybe they didn't cry even then. And they're crying all over the place. But I'd like you to take a look at this, and it's so unnecessary. It should have never happened. Please, thank you.
Sunday night, I asked her to not stay up super late because of her coming to work with me in the morning first to do her summer school. She said, okay. I told her good night and I love you. I went to bed, not realizing that that was going to be the last time I saw her.
Where
We're best friends.
Yeah.
We're going to shake it again.
I woke up to notice she wasn't in her bed. I'm in my heart trying not to lose my mind because I don't know where she is. I finally remembered her phone had a location on, and her phone was pinging just 2 minutes down the road, right behind the skate park. I start driving to the direction the phone was being pinged at, and I see a couple cop cars with lights on. I see yellow tape, and immediately my heart drops and sinks to the bottom of my stomach. My daughter's hands and ankles were both bound. She was strangled to death, left with no pants. And I know in my heart, she fought incredibly hard. She was not going down without a fight.
We begin with two men we're learning are charged with capital murder tonight, accused of killing a 12-year-old girl.
Police say these men strangled her before dumping her into that creek. Both men were in the country illegally.
Apprehended, then released by Border Patrol less than 3 weeks before Jocelyn's death. The men accused of killing Jocelyn Nungare are affiliated with the gang known for brutal violence.
Kamala Harris was in charge of immigration in our borders. If we had better border policies and not open borders and not these catch and release policies, I truly believe this all could have been prevented. Under her being vice president of this country, my daughter's life was ripped away from her. She had her entire life ahead of her.
Happy birthday, dear Jocelyn.
My daughter is 6 feet in the ground based off of policies that she allowed to keep. Kamala Harris did have one job, and she not only failed, not me, she failed my daughter. She failed Jocelyn. You know, she was only 12. President Trump reached out, gave me his sincerest condolences as not a former president, but just as a father, someone who cares. I believe Donald Trump needs to be back in office. I can at least know that my next child will be safe in this country.
So sad, so unnecessary. Would have never happened if you had, like the chart shows you, would have never happened. What a sad, sad situation. Here today is another American mom, Tammy Nobles, and her wonderful husband, Jeremiah. 2 years ago, Tammy's 20-year-old daughter, Kayla, was found raped, tied up, and strangled to death with a telephone cord in her home in Maryland. Kayla's murderer was an illegal alien, MS-13 gang member who was apprehended by Border Patrol. But under the policy of Kamala Harris, he was released into the United States to kill and kill at will. Tammy, please come up. Thank you. Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you. I'm really honored.
I'm going to help it out. Thank you.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank President Trump for inviting me here today and bringing Kayla's story to all of you. He brings real people and real stories. Kayla celebrated her 20th birthday 3 days before she was murdered. She was struggling with autism and the obstacles. She finally found a job that she could do and that she could do well. She had 2 jobs. She loved animals, especially her cat, Oreo. She loved going to church, and she loved God. Department of Homeland Security did not do their job. Health and Human Services did not do their job. The Biden and Harris administration did not do their job. If they would have made that one phone call to El Salvador to know that her murderer was an MS-13 gang member and had a criminal record in 2020 for illicit gang activity, my daughter would still be alive today, and he would not have been allowed to even cross this border. Health and Human Services did not verify his sponsor. Under the Biden-Harris administration, ICE refused to retain him until DNA results came back. Guess where he got to go? Child Protective Services put him in an unsecured group home with other children and enrolled him into 2 different Maryland high schools. He was in school in Maryland with other people's children, putting those children at risk. I am Kayla's voice. For those that have not voted yet, please think of Kayla and the countless others who lost their lives to an open border. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tammy. So many, well, we're gonna do that. So many stories like that. It's you could go on all day, all night, forever. And this is just the beginning. You haven't seen anything. These people, they don't do anything. They're oblivious to it. They don't even treat the people that have been so badly hurt. They don't even call them. They don't talk to them. They couldn't care less. It's incredible, actually. I don't get it. Nobody gets it. But we will hold Kayla's memory in our hearts forever. It's a story like so many other stories. And many different forms of crime. There's gang crime taking place. There's crime that we've never seen. There's some crimes that we've never seen anything like it. They run over people in the sidewalk for sport. See that guy? I'll run him over. Watch. These people are sick. We just can't have a country like this. When you vote on Tuesday, vote in honor of Kayla and Jocelyn and Laken Riley and Rachel Morin and every American who has been stolen from us by Kamala's open border. The day I take the oath of office, the migrant invasion ends and the restoration of our country begins. Because the United States is now an occupied country. Think of this. Think of this. With the United States, we're an occupied country. This is all over. This is in small towns. Look at our beautiful Ohio. We have Springfield, where they dropped 30,000 illegal migrants into a 50,000 person town. Think of it. Now just think of it. But it will be an occupied country. We will not have this no longer, and that's gonna happen very soon. We're gonna get them the hell out of here and fast. Look at Aurora in Colorado. You have a governor, unlike your governor. He's radical left. He's a lunatic. He's petrified because you have one of the toughest gangs in the world there, and they're taking over large swaths of Aurora and other places in Colorado and all over the country. November 5th, 2024 will be Liberation Day in America. It's going to be liberation. On day one, I will launch the largest deportation program of criminals in the history of America. I will rescue every city and town that has been invaded and conquered. And we will put the vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in jail or kick them the hell out of their country. We're going to get them out of our country. And to expedite removals of Tren de Aragua. This is said to be the most vicious gang anywhere in the world, although I think MS-13 gives it an awfully good shot. And other of these savage gangs, I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. And think how far back we had to go, because they ran a little different country. They ran it a little bit tougher then. We had to go back to 1798 to target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil. And if they come back into our country, it's an automatic 10 years in jail with no possibility of parole. And I am hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or a law enforcement officer. And we are going to protect our law enforcement officers. They protect us. They protect us, and we're going to protect them. We're going to protect them. And I will immediately ban all sanctuary cities in the United States of America. And despite all of the damage that Kamala has caused, she has spent the final week of her campaign comparing her political opponents to the most evil mass murderers in history. That's us. She compares us. Then sleepy Joe Biden called our supporters garbage, called you, me, all of us, garbage. We're garbage. And then he tried to get out of it. Did you see he wanted to change the transcripts? Can you imagine? It's like 60 Minutes. It's like, he reminds me of 60 Minutes. Let's change their answers. You ever see that one before? She gave a bad answer. They took the answer out and they put another answer in. They haven't done that for me. But because I think it'll make you happy, I'll tell you right now, we just sued them yesterday for a lot of money. Because we consider it to be, Mr. Attorney General, election interference fraud. We have a good case. My response to Joe and Kamala is very simple. You can't lead America if you don't love Americans. You can't. They don't love America. And you can't be president if you hate the American people. Everything Kamala says is a lie. Her entire campaign is one hoax and slander after another. But the only way to stop the lies is to swamp them with the votes. We're going to swamp them like they haven't been swamped before. Kamala has no vision, no ideas, and no solutions. All she can talk about is Donald Trump. Can you believe it?
Good evening, everyone. Tonight I will speak. Good evening, everyone. Tonight I will speak about Donald Trump. 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 Trump.
That was the other night. That was 2 nights ago. She's supposed to be talking about economic development, which she knows nothing about. She kept saying, Donald Trump this, Donald. She's crazy. She has got a massive and untreatable case of Trump derangement syndrome. There are some people who thrive under pressure, and there are some people who crack under pressure. If Kamala can't handle an interview with Joe Rogan, then she can't handle the presidency of the United States, can't she? She will get completely overwhelmed, meltdown, and millions of people will die. No, we can't have this. It's not a charity event running for president or being president. This is an election for the biggest and toughest job in the history of the world. There's no job tougher, bigger, more important. We can change the whole world, and for the positive, for the positive. Do you want to lose your life savings because we put a weak and ineffective person in the White House? Do you want to lose your job and maybe your house and pension because Kamala has the economic understanding of a mere child? And would you trust Kamala Harris to talk Russia or China out of a war? I don't think so. In fact, they tried that, 3 days before Russia invaded Ukraine, right? They tried it. She went and she met with a lot of people, and right after she came back, they invaded. Good job, Kamala. Would have never happened if I was president. Would have never happened. Nothing is more dangerous than to give immense power to a very weak and incompetent person with an extremely low IQ. At the end of the day, you need to ask yourself, can you afford to put someone this incompetent in charge of the United States of America? On top of it all, Kamala says she would not do one thing differently from Joe Biden. Think of this, right track, wrong track. She's wrong track almost 90% of the time, the both of them, and yet she says nothing different. Please take a look.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
I stood there on the tarmac watching you check your watch.
The chaotic and deadly U.S. evacuation from Afghanistan stunned Americans and the world and cost the lives of 13 U.S. soldiers.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States.
An Afghan national is in custody today after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack. The suspect entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
Gut-wrenching new details in the murder of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national who crossed the unsecured southern border back in 2022.
2 men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder in the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
A 5th illegal immigrant accused of attacking 2 New York City police officers over the weekend showed no remorse or regret.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Only 18% say the economy is in excellent or good condition. US inflation has hit a new 40-year high, increasing by 9.1% over the financial year.
Authorities saying Train de Aragua, which has been linked with more than 100 criminal investigations here in the U.S., has now been found operating its criminal enterprise in apartment complexes.
Were you the last person in the room? Yes.
Nothing comes to mind. Nothing comes to mind. That's true in her case. Nothing. And it never will. If you want to end this disaster, this horrible trip that we're on, get out and vote. Tuesday, just get out and vote. So we're pleased to be joined by a wonderful guy, and with this name, I really believe he's going to win for the Senate. Hung Cao. Do you know who Hung Cao is? Where is he? Come here. Come here. You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job.
You know, sir, the Italians make this car called Fiat, and it made me think of something. You know what Fiat stands for? Fix it again, Trump. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris broke it, and we need you to fix it again, Trump. Virginians, look to your left and look to your right. These are your American brothers and sisters. These are people I fought and bled for. These are people that President Trump took a bullet for. We're not done fighting for you. So on Tuesday, when we go out, unlike the left, we're not going to vote for the hatred of one man. We're going to vote for the love of God, for the love of family, and love of country. And Mr. President, we will deliver 13 electoral votes for you. And I'll stand by your side as the next U.S. Senator from the Commonwealth of Virginia, because we need you to fix it again, Trump.
Thank you very much. He's going to do well. You got to get out, vote for him. That's a big deal, too. That would be a big one. And he deserves it. A great hero, you know. He's a great hero, great military hero. A man who's also a hero, in my book. A man who's done a spectacular job running your beautiful Virginia. He's done a beautiful job. You know, I called him about this. I think, do you think we should do it? What do you think? He said, I'm telling you, we can win. And he's worked so hard on this event. We spoke many, many times, Glenn, didn't we? Many, many times. And I just want to thank you. And I know you spoke before, but if you'd like to come up and say a couple of seconds, or you could just stay where the hell you are, Glenn. Come on up. Come on.
Come on, Virginia. We had the greatest economy in the world, and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden broke it, and Donald Trump will fix it. We had the most secure border in the history of America, and Kamala Harris broke it, and Donald Trump will fix it. We had no wars. We didn't have war in Ukraine. We didn't have war in the Middle East, and China was not threatening Taiwan. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden broke it. Donald Trump will. My friends, America needs Donald Trump. Let's go win Virginia.
Thank you, Glenn. You got a great governor. You have a great governor and a great guy. Thank you very much. Also with us, Lieutenant Governor Winsome Sears, Lieutenant Governor. Thank you very much. Great honor to have you. Thank you very much. Your Attorney General, Jason. Where's Jason? What a job, Jason. What a job you're doing. Thank you, Jason. Good job. Good victory we had, too, huh? Had a big victory on the voting. That was at the Supreme Court. That was a good victory. Wow. Also, members of Congress, friends of mine, warriors, are always fighting and winning. We win a lot in Congress. Ben Klein and Morgan Griffith, thank you very much. And congressional candidate John McGuire. John, thank you very much, John. Good luck. And a special guy who's really doing a job, Rich Anderson, Virginia GOP chairman. Thank you, Rich. Good job. What do you think, Rich? We're going to make it? You're going to win here? Huh? You better work. We got to. Good job. Thank you, Rich, very much. And we have RNC Chair Michael Whatley is here. Michael Whatley. What a job he did. He's doing a job. Thank you, Michael. You know, Michael was the head of the GOP in a place called North Carolina, and we won it easily, and there was no theft. He had 601 lawyers working. I said, that's the guy I like for this. And I said, you don't have to worry about the votes. Just worry about the theft. And that's all I had, because we got plenty of votes. We got so many votes, but we want more. Michael, say hello, please. Just raise that beautiful hand. Thank you very much. He's doing a great job. And one of the greatest entrepreneurs in America, Mr. Steve Witkoff. He's a great gentleman. Thank you, Steve, wherever you may be. Thank you, Steve. Most generous guy. But here are the facts. Kamala is a radical left Marxist, rated even worse than crazy Bernie Sanders himself. Even worse than Pocahontas, I would say. Kamala destroyed our economy. She was an original creator of defund the police movement. Anybody that wants even defund the police for 1 day, 1 second is not worthy of being president of the United States. Kamala vowed to abolish ICE. She pledged to confiscate your guns and endorsed a total ban on handgun ownership. She wants to confiscate. She will confiscate your guns. Would anybody in the room or anybody outside, you have 25,000 people outside. I wish I could show them. Can we show them? Is there a way? Because they are outside. And, I mean, they are the greatest people. We got 25,000. Is there anybody here that would like to give up their gun to Kamala? She even called for free sex changes for illegal aliens in detention at taxpayer expense. And perhaps worst of all, she never worked at McDonald's. Can you believe it? She's a liar. She's a liar. In conclusion, with your vote this November, we are going to fire Kamala, and we're going to save America. We will cut your taxes, end inflation, slash your prices, raise your wages, and bring thousands of factories back to America and back to Virginia. We're going to get them here for you, Glenn. You're going to have so many factories, you're going to say, please, Mr. President, we can't handle it anymore. We have too many jobs. He's going to come to Washington with hung. He's going to bring hung cow, and they're going to say, we have to see the president. And they're going to say, Mr. President, Virginia cannot handle so much business. We cannot handle it. You're getting too many companies wanting to come in. It's too much. I'll say, I'm sorry, Glenn. I want them to keep coming. Anyway, thank you, Glenn, for doing a job. This was a great thing. What a great job you did. This is really, really great. We will build American, we will buy American, and we will hire American. And I will end the war in Ukraine. And I will stop the chaos in the Middle East. October 7th would have never happened if I were president. And I will prevent World War III from happening. We're going to prevent it. And we've never been so close to World War III. We have never, ever been so close to it, with the Middle East all over the place. You know, the great leader of Hungary, Viktor Orban, he made a statement very recently. He says it a lot. They said, what's happening with the world? It's blowing up in the Middle East. It's blowing up with Russia, Ukraine. Nobody knows what's happening, what's going on. He said, put Trump back as president. When he was president, there were no problems with the world. We will crush violent crime and give our police the support, protection, resources, and respect they so dearly deserve. And we will strengthen and modernize our military. I rebuilt our entire military. Then we gave a nice chunk of it to Afghanistan. How'd you like that? What a horrible time. I think it was the lowest point in the history of our country. 13 dead soldiers. I got to know their parents and relatives a lot, really well. They wouldn't even call them. They've never gotten one call from Kamala or Crooked Joe. Never got a call. Think of it. We left billions of dollars of equipment behind. They had a parade the other day. Wasn't that nice, showing our equipment that they got from the stupid American leader? They had a parade, yeah, through their main boulevard, showing brand new armored vehicles, brand new tanks, brand new goggles, you know? Thank you. Thank you. What a nice group. Where's that group? Let me see. Stand up. Let me see. Whoa. We're going to get you a better seat next time. You're right at the top row. We will build a missile defense shield around our country. It's going to be made, a lot of it right here in Virginia. It's going to be made in the USA. We're going to rebuild our cities, including our capital in Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. We will get critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our schools. And we will teach our children to love our country, to honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag. I will defend religious liberty. I will restore free speech, and I will defend the right to keep and bear arms. After years of building up foreign nations, defending foreign borders, and protecting foreign lands, we are going to build up our nation, defend our borders, and protect our lands and our citizens. And we will stop illegal immigration once and for all. We will not be invaded. We will not be occupied. We will not be overrun. We will not be conquered. We will be a free and proud nation. Once again, everyone will prosper. Every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with opportunity and hope and our beautiful American dream. We're going to have our American dream back very soon. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris and stop her radical left agenda with a landslide that is too big to rig. You have to get out and vote. That's all you have to do. I'm one of the few politicians that comes up. Can you believe I'm calling myself a politician? I just realized that's a terrible thing to say. But I'm one of the few politicians that, I don't want your money, I don't want anything. I just want that vote. You got to get out and vote. I don't want your money. For the past 9 years, we have been fighting against the most sinister and corrupt forces on earth. We have very, very evil people and forces. With your vote in this election, you can show them once and for all that this nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you. It belongs to you and you. It was hardworking patriots like you who built this country. And 3 days from now, it is hardworking patriots like you who are going to save our country. After all we have been through together, we stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in American history. They will be great years, and we're starting from so far behind, but they will be great years. With your help, from now until Election Day, 4 days, even less, we will restore America's promise, and we will take back the nation that we love. We are one family, one people, and one glorious nation under God. We will never give in, we will never give up, we will never back down, and we will never, ever surrender. Together, we will fight, 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 and we will win, win, win. Thank you. We will win, win, win. Thank you. Thank you very much. November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country, and together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Virginia. Thank you very much. Thank you. God bless you all. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you, Virginia.